What's going on, people? Forgot about my my Yoo-hoo bottle. Disgusting Yoo-hoo bottle. You guys don't mind, right? So I got through another large portion of the H3 podcast, where they're interviewing Michael Stevens from Vsauce, and we got through a lot of it, but I couldn't quite finish it. It just started doing that choppy load thing again, so oh well. I still don't know of a quick fix for that, aside from leaving the video alone for like 2 weeks and then going back and trying it again. Because if I start watching it again tomorrow, it'll be in the same issue. I don't know. So I watched a few other videos, some Jordan Peterson, and some, I think I said the name of that podcast, the H3 podcast with Michael Stevens. I used to know the date that was done, but it's the one where he's talking about his ayahuasca experience when he did it with Minefield. Minefield season 2. So I think it was like in towards the end of 2017 is when he did that one. That interview, that show. I don't know. So come on, you guys. I learned today that avocados are quite filling. Yeah. Had my usual 2 turkey sandwiches for lunch, and there was avocado on it today. My wife put avocados on it, and it was a good change. It's tasty, but it was so filling. Oh my god! I ate my one sandwich, and I didn't feel like I usually do after my first sandwich. I was like, I don't know if I can eat anymore. So I waited 40 minutes, thinking, well, maybe I'll just drink some water and I'll be hungry. And I started to eat the other one, and I had to cram it in. I'm still full. I got back from lunch 4 hours ago. Yeah, 3 hours ago. Yeah, that was quite filling. Nice little touch though. The lane's closed. Why do you guys do that? It's a restricted lane. It hasn't changed. It's still restricted. What else? Oh, it's a fucking cop. A cop driving in the restricted lane. You go, officer. Fucking incredible. Fucking incredible. Done that shit, and now he's just jumping across 2 lanes there. You faggots. I still remember one time I saw a cop sitting at a red light. He was at the front of it. He clicked his lights on and went across the road and then clicked his lights off. Yeah, he didn't want to sit at the red light like the rest of us. I started watching a Elon Musk, Ray Kurzweil, Nick Bostrom. I think I'm saying his name right, Bostrom. It's like the AI convention. A whole bunch of scientists were there speaking. There's like a whole panel. There's like 10 people. Those are just the names that I've like listened to before. I might even listen to the other people too, but I don't remember who they are. I think there was somebody named Sean something. It's not talking back. Sean something. He's a big guy. All seem very intelligent speakers. These are my comments. There's fucking AI convention. I'm out of my element, man. You're out of your element, Donnie. Shut the hell up. Yeah, so I only got through the first like 20 minutes so far, and then well, that was the end of the day. So yeah, I'll see if the video loads tomorrow. Yeah, so they were talking a lot about the in H3 podcast with Michael Stevens. They were talking about like the differences between doing your own show and doing a show with YouTube. And then they were just kind of going through the big pluses and big minuses. Like, one, like if you're doing your own show, you do it at your own pace. Whatever you're comfortable with, you know. With theirs, the big plus is money. They can fund the shit out of your stuff. So, I can understand that. Especially with what they're doing. Oh, fuck. It's a yield. It's not a stop sign, man. Come on. Smooth that shit out, man. What else? I did not get onto Project Zomboid or my computer yesterday because I went and watched Star Wars. Yeah, that's right. I watched Star Wars, finally. I think it's been out for a month and a half? Month? Yeah. I enjoyed it. Maybe I'm one of the weird people. I watch both Star Wars and Star Trek. I'm not like, oh my god, one over the other, or something like that. But come on, people, Star Trek, right? No, but they each have their own thing, you know, and yeah. Star Trek just has there's tons. They have fucking seasons upon seasons of footage. So I think in that regard, it's kind of weird to compare the two. But I enjoy watching both. So there you go. One I watch almost on a daily basis, though, so I'm sure you can guess which one. But I do watch both. When the new movie comes out, yeah, I'm gonna go fucking watch it. Why the fuck not, man? I won't get into it too much because I'm not a big fan of like spoiling shit. So They all die in the end. Just kidding. I know I watched oh, that's right. The fucking the float conference with Christopher Ryan and Duncan Trussell. They were doing their Duncan Trussell family hour at the float conference. There was a piggy pig on this side. So, anyway. Yeah, they were talking about not floating for whatever reason. Yeah, not floating. They were discussing a lot of the parts about Christopher Ryan living the free way that he does live. I almost called it living off grid, but like he went into detail of that and said that no, he does not live off grid. He is not tied into society like most people are, you know. Like he doesn't work the 9 to 5 and is not another cog in the machine, if you will, but he kind of, I guess, escaped that. He lives out of a van and he swims in the river. That's pretty much what they were discussing. So I thought that was pretty cool. They talked about a bunch of shit, and now I can't recall it. They were something I was going to mention about their talk. I mean, they did touch a little bit on floating and how it was like really amazing experiences. I think Christopher Ryan was just talking about how he had tried meditating for years and he could never quite get there, and then his first 15 minutes in a float tank and he just zipped right there to that, like, I don't know what you want to call it, a highly meditative state. And then Duncan was talking about how he, when he did it, he went to like a few old memories where he said the float tank was just showing him shit that was like deep in there in his past. 'Cause he's an asshole. No. But everybody's done shit that fucking, like, later on they're like, fuck, that was me? For real? Fuck, man. You know, so it was one of those things. My journey through the float tank, me and my wife both went there, and I'm almost home now. Now I come up with a story. We both went to the one in Ashburn, Ohm Float, I think. And they were really nice. It was really nice. The only thing I didn't like was the fact that I kept touching just slightly. I kept touching the edges, and I had watched a few videos about floating, and just heard people talking about their experiences in there, and they said, oh, well, just stay calm and everything will be all right. And then another issue that I noticed while I was in there was the my head. When I would get like completely relaxed in there, I would notice that the water would, like, if I completely relaxed, the water would have came up and hit my eyes. So I couldn't quite fully relax, and there was like this tension. And I noticed it when I got out later, that I had gotten actually more tense around my neck because I couldn't completely like relax in there. And I almost wonder, like, and when I looked it up later, people were like, no, you don't want to take a pillow in there because it takes away from the experience. You'll hear the water hitting the pillow and all that, like, especially if it's like a foamy pillow, you're gonna hear it. Just the slightest movement, you'll hear it in there. And don't take headphones, because you can get waterproof headphones. That's not the issue. It's just the fact that you're taking away from the experience that it was. So if I ever did it again, sorry, Own Float, I probably wouldn't go back to the same place unless they have like a bigger tank. And I'm not sure what the issue with the head thing was, but that was a nuisance during my experience. I'm guessing that's something with like the salt level in there. I don't know. Or I have a misshaped head. Yeah. Oh, you guys can't even fucking see me. Whatever. You guys can't see me anyway. Blah. 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 Yeah. That was about it. That was my float experience. Oh, so the meditative side of it was just kind of like darkness, which I kind of expected for the first one. I didn't see anything. I did go into some deep thought. I think it was over a year ago now, so I've since forgotten whatever the deep thought was. It wasn't like super amazing, but it wasn't nothing either. So it was somewhere in the middle, which is kind of what I expected for the first one. But then I never did it again for those reasons. And then also for several weeks after, one of my ears was always like crunchy. Like inside my ear was crunchy. I would hear this like crunchy noise. I didn't wear earplugs when I went in the water. And the guy that was like facilitating the place said, no, don't use any earbuds. It's fine. I've done it for years. I never had any issues. And so I was like, all right, screw it. I'll just go in with no earbuds. And I ended up having like crunchy ear syndrome. I don't know what the fuck it was. It was probably just some salty water got in there, and then took it a couple weeks to get out. It wasn't like I had to clean my ear. It was like the inside part of my ear, and I think I finally like got something to put in there, and then like rinsed it out and shit. But I never went back and did another session. But I definitely want to try it again someday. Just don't know when though. But yeah. All right, guys. I will. Was that it? I felt like there was something else. I don't know. Whatever. See you guys.